Okay, so with what we've learned about layers so far, let's go and make some changes to this particular image here. Now, what I'd like to do is just basically make the image one sort of colour scheme. We want to make it all browny so that the background is more in keeping with the subject. And the simplest way to do that is with the following workflow. So the first thing we're going to do is go Command or Control J to duplicate the layer. Then what we're going to do is we want to make a sample of the greens in the background so that we can go and select them with the Color Range tool. So hold down the I to temporarily select your eyedropper tool. So hold down the I key on your keyboard and just tap in there and then come up to Select Color Range. Now keep the fuzziness setting to about 5, localized color clusters turned on. Come and add color by clicking on this middle eyedropper icon here and just stay inside the selection panel and just very roughly come down the sides. Don't go onto the subject or the perch, and we'll just make a very rough selection. And there we go, we'll click OK. This range command, leave it set to 100 because basically all this does is stipulate how much of the image we're actually making this selection apply to. Well, we want it all across the image. So we'll just go ahead and click OK. So now we've got a marching ants up. Come into this layer 1 and add a layer mask. The next thing I'm going to want to do is invert that mask, because right at this moment the subject and the perch are black and so they are hidden and the background is white, so that's what we can see, and we want it the other way around. So we Command or Control I with the mask selected, and then what we're going to do is come over to the masks panel and click Mask Edge to get up the Refine Mask Edge dialog box. Inside this dialog box we're going to double click the magnify tool, and now we can see just how bitty the selection is around some of the finer detail. Very easy to get rid of. Just double click in the feather amount box there and just tap 1, and now we've feathered the selection a little bit, and we're going to actually shift the edge out by 2 pixels. We're also going to go and decontaminate the colours, and now it's looking a little bit more well defined along the edge of these antennae. So we'll output this to a new layer with a layer mask, click OK. Then what we want to do is to come into this original layer here, hold down the Shift key and deactivate the mask. Go and make the layer visible again, come and click on the image and then go Filter, Blur, Average, and now what we've done is we've averaged out this image here in this center layer. And if we go and just bring it back to a fit to screen view, you can see it's one homogeneous color. So if I now click back on that top layer to bring it all back again, staying inside this layer, we now want to set the new background hue. So we're going to come back to the adjustments panel, add a hue saturation adjustments layer, and I don't like using the hue slider in the hue saturation panel for making selective color changes, but in this instance it will do a pretty good job. So we're just going to grab the hue slider and move it over to the left, and let's make a sort of a tan type background, tan, light brown, khaki, whatever you like to call it, and that will do. However, if we double click to bring the image up to 100%, you can see we've got this green tinge on the edges of the perch here, and we need to remove that green tinging. And basically all the image that you can see, all the detail that you can see in the subject and the perch is contained within this top layer in the stack. If I just go and turn the background layer off, you can see it makes no difference whatsoever. So just reactivate that, and what we're now going to do is add another hue saturation layer to control the greens contained within this layers image. So we'll go and add another hue saturation adjustment layer, and from the hue selector we're going to choose greens, and we're going to desaturate those by -100. And it's made a slight difference, but not much, and that's because we haven't got a proper selection of greens here. So what I'm actually going to do is start making adjustments with these little sliders and markers down here, and I'll warn you now, they can be extremely fiddly. So I'm just going to grab this left one, and I'm just going to move it down to there, and you can see now that it's made such a difference to the edge of the actual branch that the subject is perched on or is sitting on. And it's made quite an acceptable difference, but we've not finished yet. What I actually want to do is increase the range of greens that this is applied to, and we just need to go and pick that left hand marker up there, and we'll just move that and leave that around about there, and then I'm going to grab the right hand selector and bring that down to around about there. There we go. And now that's made some very subtle colour changes, but we've now got rid of the greatest majority of the greens that was still left contained within this image here in this layer 1 copy. Now if we go back to double click on our hand tool and take it back to a fit to screen view, there's our newly adjusted image, and there's our original image, and I know which one I actually prefer. Now if you think we've desaturated the background a little bit too much, let's just go and hold down the Alt key and come in between these two layers here, and let's pin this hue saturation layer to this layer 1 copy with a clipping mask. And now you can see we've got some more saturation going on inside the background. It's as we set it in this original first hue saturation layer. So there we go. That's a simple, easy, quick workflow changing the background of an image, and we've used layers, we've used adjustment layers, and we've used a very simple quick clipping mask.